Let me introduce myself. My name is Jen Jordan. I am Jacob's mom. Jakob and I are from Cincinnati. This is the fourth one of these spelling events that we've done. All the first three of them were in Cincinnati, and Jakob and I are so incredibly excited to be here in Andrew's hometown and to see Andrew have this opportunity to spell in front of so many of you that he loves so deeply and cares so much about, and he just wants to share himself with all of you. So I'm really excited that you're gonna get to have this experience of Andrew. And for those of you that don't know either one of us, I think you will know both of our families really, really well by the end of this. So a couple of quick announcements before I give you a little backstory and bring the guys up. We have people we have to thank: the Love Andrew Autism Foundation and Schumacher Homes. Without them, events like this they would never come to be. So we love and thank both of them, all of them, so very much. So a little backstory. The spelling, how it came to both of us. Andrew and Jakob have only been friends for about 2.5 years. What we had in common was a play therapist named Susan. Susan started working with Andrew when he was 3. She started working with Jakob when he was 6. Our two families never met. The very first time they met is when they went to a spellers camp in August of 2022. So Susan got trained how to become a communication partner and started working with both of the guys, and had been working with them for a few years before we went to our very first spellers camp in Idlewild, California, that Julie's business, Autistically Inclined, puts on. So when Susan was working with the guys, she'd get answers that were very simple, like multiple choice questions. They were able to spell that. If she asked them to spell a word, they would spell a word. But if you would ask them a question like why or how or what do you think, that just wasn't really happening yet. Those are called open-ended questions. But the minute the guys sat down with Julie, they almost immediately started answering these open questions. The very first question that Julie asked Andrew, after getting them kind of warmed up with asking him to spell some specific words, she says, "What does the brain body, the apraxic brain body disconnect feel like?" And Andrew spelled, that disconnect really feels like an insane circus. Yes. Then Jakob spelled, great analogy. I was stunned. I just sat there stunned. But in that moment, in my stunned silence, which is, Jakob finds his words and I lose mine. I talk for a living. I talk a lot. So for me to lose words, it's a very big deal. So I was just stunned for the next couple of hours as we watched this happen, but we knew in that instant that our lives were forever changed. It's time to bring to the stage the one and only Jakob Jordan and Andrew Schumacher.
Hello, North Canton. My people are in the house today. Some of you are brand new to me and others are friends, family, and people who have helped support me through the years. Thank you for being here. It is awesome to get to share my thoughts with each of you. For 22 years I lived an existence that did not represent my internal depth. I cannot find the right words to describe what it feels like to be able to let you all in, breaking past my external barriers. This is me. I am reflective about who I am in this world. I am creative with my words, and I am concerned about the well-being of my loved ones. No one would understand the depth of these attributes without access to communication. Thank you all for wanting to learn from us.
And Jakob?
I am one of 2 very handsome guys, and I am so grateful to be sharing my story with you today. My story starts off without the ability to speak. I didn't know why people didn't understand me. I thought I was talking. It wasn't until years later when words started coming out of my mouth. That's when I realized my thoughts didn't match my speech. I worked hard to get my words out, in hopes of sharing all that I wanted to say, but the wrong words kept coming out. It wasn't until Susan explained what apraxia was, and showed me video of someone like me who learned to spell out their thoughts, when a light bulb went on in my head. I feel like I woke up that day. We practiced a crap ton, doing over 300 lessons together, while she and my mom took online classes with Julie. Meanwhile, Susan was also practicing with this handsome dude on my left. We all came together for the first time to meet with Julie in California when we were both 22 years old. It is hard to believe that was just a year and a half ago, because so much has happened. Buckle up, buttercups, cause our story is just getting started.
It doesn't take long to realize just how intelligent, clever, witty, and funny they are. You'll also get to know their depth. Andrew, can you explain to us what apraxia is and how it affects you?
Imagine your life represented by a book. The first chapter is about all the things children love, like cartoons and balloons, animals, shapes, and primary colors. That chapter creates a book cover that everyone judges you by. You get stuck with that same cover the rest of your life. What people don't see is all the growing chapters that are written, year after year, getting more complex and sophisticated, as you gain more life experience. But no one else can see anything but chapter 1. You keep shouting the current chapter, but your mouth only speaks chapter 1. This is apraxia. It is my life until the age of 22. This past 1.5 years, I have finally been able to catch everyone up on what this book is actually all about. And let me tell you, these pages are pretty flipping colorful. I might even dare to say that some of those extra colorful pages are not appropriate for all audiences, so I will spare you all the details. Ha ha. You're welcome, Mom and Dad. I am excited to let you in on some chapters today, and I hope you can see beyond all the misrepresented apraxic covers of our amazing loved ones here and in your lives.
All right, Andrew, lots of chapters in that book, right? Tell us, which one of the chapters do you think would surprise your friends and family the most?
I, H, A, V, E, E, D. Birthed. I have a library of stories waiting to be birthed. And the creativity doesn't stop there. S, I, T, H, E, R, E. There.
Andrew lets me know that he's done with the thought when he hits the enter key, and then I know he's complete.
I, A, S, T, A, R, T, E, D. I am an artist who is just getting their party started. I have a library of stories waiting to be birthed, and the creativity doesn't stop there. Silly me, there. I am an artist who is just getting their party started.
Nice.
Nice. All right, Andrew and Jacob, switch spots for a second. All right, Jacob, talk to us about apraxia and how it affects you.
Apraxia is a struggle in every moment of every day. I think about what I want to say or do, but I can't act on those thoughts. I may want to say, "Hey man, what's up?" to Andrew. Instead, I run to my mom and ask her about the latest schedule change, like it is the most important job in the world, as if I am the CEO in charge. What I really want is to talk about girls with my man Andrew. I imagine getting to drive with him to go play golf together. But instead, my mom is driving me to therapy, and my constant questions are driving her crazy. She is a trooper, as I am nonstop with the loops that come out of this darn mouth of mine. I try so hard to say and do different things, but it feels impossible. I am able to harness my constant stream of impulsivity with the right support. It takes extreme focus, energy, and help from people who get me. You will see my apraxia when I can't maintain control. It is a lifesaver to not have to worry about trying to speak the thoughts in my head. I find it so much easier to try to control one spelling finger. It is not easy, but it is so worth the immense work. Please understand apraxia and teach your autistic peeps about it too. Simply knowing about it will change everything.
So you talk about the relief that you felt. So what is something that you have been able to share now that you can communicate that has felt like a relief to let other people know, to let other people see about you? What's felt like relief?
T H A T that I W A W H A T what Y O U S E C that I want to learn and do more than what you see.
Mom, it's long about trying about in fact if they one face here.
Yes, I was wrong about the long line at the bathroom.
Mom, it's long on way home fast if they home.
I was wrong about the fastest way home.
Is next time.
I'll do better next time.
Fast time.
I messed it up
Because
I thought I was right, but I was wrong and you corrected me. Thank God I have you.
T E L L I N. I am telling you that I don't really care about which bathroom or route is the biggest relief because it shows you who I really am.
So Julie, talk to us a little bit about this brain-body disconnect, what it is, what it does, and yes, because it's so huge, and just apraxia has always just been kind of a sidebar. They have autism, and apraxia, and they have apraxia, and that's why they don't talk. No, it's more than that.
So when I started in this field, autism was seen as a behavior disorder and then evolved into more of a social disorder. But when you start to understand apraxia, you realize that this is much more about motor and the sensory system, motor meaning movement. So they have a thought totally intact. They're hearing everything we're saying. It's all going in. But when every single way that they have to express themselves, to express any thought they have requires movement. And speech is the most complicated movement because you've got your lung, your mouth, your tongue, right? All these different parts that have to move together all at the same time just to produce one syllable. So with apraxia and this knowledge, we're able to simplify that process and really focus on that motor movement of one finger to be able to control that rather than all these different pieces. So it's a disconnect between what they're thinking and what they're wanting to do and what actually happens.
All right, Andrew, are you ready? So other than speech, how does this brain-body disconnect affect you, and what do you do to help your mind gain more control over your body?
I do meditation to calm my anxiety as stress makes anything purposeful fly out the window. I also work out to gain more control. This. Ladies, this body don't come naturally, ladies. I do meditation to calm my anxiety as stress makes anything purposeful fly out the window. I also work out to gain more control. This body don't come naturally, ladies.
Now, Julie, people see you sitting there holding the keyboard, and they're like, what's so special about her? I mean, she's just sitting next to him, holding onto this keyboard. Whoop-de-doo, I should be able to do that. What's the big deal? It is a very complicated process, and you work with a lot of spellers that don't have the amount of control over their bodies that Jakob and Andrew do. Can you explain, as a communication partner and a regulation partner, what you're doing to help spellers get enough control over their bodies so they can point to the letters?
Yes. So each of my clients that I work with and students I get to work with, we build a relationship together. So we're sitting next to each other, we're doing lessons, it's a whole process we can talk more about, but in that process, I'm learning so much about you, Andrew, and Jakob, and everybody, where I start to see what your impulse looks like. I start to see what your dysregulation looks like. And I start to learn how to feed your loops, which we'll talk about more soon too. But that's a way to help keep you regulated. So sometimes you'll see me stop and answer some of Jakob's questions, just like Jen did. Sometimes you'll see me with other students, I might give them some squeezes on their hands before we get ready, right? Any way to help keep you regulated and to keep an eye out for those impulses that tend to take over. And over time, in the beginning, I am giving a lot of prompts. I am coaching their body in every little step. So we are having you practice spell, and I might be pointing where they need to go to help them start to gain that control over their body. I'm using my voice to create a flow and a rhythm to help you get your body moving to that rhythm. There's so many different little pieces that I'm doing in the beginning where I'm much more active and I'm a bigger part of the process. And then over time, I'm able to fade out my gestures, I'm able to fade out my voice. And now you see I sit here pretty quiet, but every now and then I'll have to add in, chime in with some regulation or some support, but never directive now, right? If they're open-ended, it's gonna be vague support. Like, find it, you got it, straight to it. Rather than in the beginning, it's left, right, up, down, right?
Yeah, I think, and you two guys can go ahead and swap spots. All right, so Jakob, you mentioned dysregulation. Jakob, talk to us about dysregulation.
I am always trying my best to stay calm and regulated in a world full of ever-changing chaos. It doesn't always happen though, especially when life throws curveballs. I will be feeling fine and dandy, and then a schedule change gets made and boom. My mind is typically on board with many changes, but the words that come out are appalled at the slightest little change. This is where my body gets stressed and things ramp up. I yell. I demand full attention. I negotiate cleverly to try to get order restored, all while my thoughts float above me and watch, waiting for the storm to pass.
So if you have a regulation partner with you, whether it be Julie or whether it be Susan or whether it be me, and we're here to help you get regulated again, what happens when none of us are around? None of us who know what to do and what to say. How do you regulate yourself? Or do you? Can you?
P-E-O-P-L-E-C-H-I-L-L. People play a major role, good and bad, with my regulation. When I am alone, I will look at maps on my phone. I also text people like Susan who knows what to say if I need a person to help me chill.
So you said someone who knows what to say. So you're talking about your loops. Why don't you explain to us what loops are?
I am full of loops. Do you guys want to see me get loopy? Disclaimer for our local friends. I sincerely hold no grudges with airports, but I sure have fun rating them. And I apologize in advance for calling any of your local lovely airports a dun. It is all in good fun.
All right, you guys want to hear? All right, what are we going to talk about, Jacob?
Loops.
Loops, yeah. So you want to start?
Airports.
All right, which airport are we going to talk about?
Cleveland.
Ooh, what do we think about Cleveland?
Dump.
It is a dump.
Loop.
Nope, not going there.
PIT.
Pittsburgh, PIT, yes.
Detroit.
If I'm going to see Susan, I am going to Detroit.
VVG.
If I'm going to see you, I'm going to CVG.
Washington, D.C.
Oh, now Washington, D.C., they've got 2 out of 3 good airports. You ready for this?
Big Eye.
Yes.
IAG.
Yes.
Ronald Reagan.
Dump.
Loop.
Nope, not going there.
New York.
3 out of 3.
Newark.
Yes.
KFK.
Yes.
Garcia.
Yes.
And that was just a sampling. Now that was obviously all in fun, right? That was funny, it was silly, they're laughing. Not all loops are fun. Some of them are very intense. You can tell that he's extraordinarily stressed. It's a helpless feeling when you don't know what the right thing to say is, because there is a right thing. We just haven't figured it out yet. And what helps you the most, or what is it that you would recommend that we do, that we do when you come to us in a stressful loop? What helps you?
I-C-O-L-Y. Exponentially, I come to you to calm me down. But my stress throws you in a frenzy, and now my stress is multiplied by your frenzy, which makes everything worse exponentially. S-O-C-A-R. Here. So calm the bleep down and tell me what I need to hear.
1919.
2019. Cool.
So, Andrew, talk to us about impulse.
I have so much that I intend to say and do, but the wrong words and actions come out. These are impulsive. When I am typing, I am accessing a different part of myself. I refer to my impulsive part as my external self, because that is the part you see. The real me is the internal me. This is where my thoughts live. It is like there are 2 different sides of me that are fighting to be seen. The external side is always the one who takes over. Communication is the only reason you can know my internal side. My impulses are the words and topics that come out of my mouth. This is limited to talking about skincare, smoothies, shaves, and basic conversations. I try to say so much more. I think my challenges with impulses and loops are because of my apraxia.
Okay, so now that you have communication and you're able to share more than smoothie recipes, what is something that you have just been so excited to share and it just filled your heart with joy?
Can you please check in on me how much protein powder I take?
Yes, we will check in with how much protein powder you take.
85.
T H E the B. The best day was when I told my dad he was my hero.
All right, Jacob, I want you to talk about rules here for a second. And Andrew, you're going to be right back, so don't get too comfortable over there. So rules, this is something we've discovered along the line that is just fascinating, how the mind works. Can you share with us what role rules play in your life?
Rules, rules, rules. I have so many silly rules that get created in the blink of an eye. Rules for parking lots, rules for food, rules for clothes, and rules for toilet paper. Our lives have lived under rules for decades. I am still under rules, but now that I can communicate, I can help those around me learn how to outsmart some of those rules with new rules. Do you know how we outsmart rules? With policies and regulations. When we need to pull in the big guns, we enact federal laws. It really works because I have shared my wants that my impulses will react negatively to. We come up with so many creative ways to let my mind win.
Yeah, it keeps you on your toes. So I think rules have played a huge role in your new experiences with food. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
I was stuck eating the same 20 foods for 22 years until we broke my cheat code wide open. M-O-M, Mom. C-A-N. Mom can share examples of her shenanigans.
Do you have a favorite? What's your favorite story?
F-R-I-D-A-Y. Friday.
So when we were up here actually hanging out with Andrew at his house and Jacob, we were trying to get him to try all kinds of new foods because he had told us that he wanted to, but his body was resistant and we were going to have to trick his body to get it to accept the food. It took us 6 hours to get him to take one bite of sausage, but his body would scream no and push the sausage away, and then he would turn and he would spell, okay, give me a minute, then push the sausage closer. So he was constantly letting us know that he wanted this. So 6 hours for a bite of sausage. So when we got home, I decided that sausage would be a food we would try. And I'm not home for breakfast during the week. I'm at work. So Saturday morning rolled along and I made him sausage and he wanted no part of it. And I was like, oh, well, I hate to break this to you, but it's a federal law. President Biden gets together every Friday morning with members of his cabinet and other policymakers, and they form the Friday Food Rules. It is the Friday Food Rules meeting. It's called the Firm. They get together every weekend and they decide what Americans need to be doing on the weekends for meals. And they have decided that everyone must eat a meat with breakfast. And so he and we went round and round on it a few times, but it stuck. And he started eating sausage because it was an edict from the White House.
We've kept specific
We skipped sausage this week, though, didn't we?
because
Well, because we're skipping processed meat for a few days.
next week.
Next week, you can have sausage. Now we love sausage.
We've kept sausage next week.
Yeah. So once he was able to, I mean, this number is astounding because it was that first couple of days of his open communication that he had told us that he wanted to eat new foods. And this is such a big thing for so many people on the spectrum. They only eat 4 foods or 10 foods, and it's the same things. They may so want to expand their diet, and their body just, that apraxic brain-body disconnect just won't let them. And so he spelled for us that he wanted it. That very first week at Spellers Camp, he ate 43 new foods. Since then, we are well over 500. We've lost count. At this point, anything we put in front of him, he'll try it.
We've kept sausage this week.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Never. My mom and I go to a restaurant with him. We could never go to restaurants. He wouldn't eat anything. Now we'll go and eat salmon. It's crazy. Andrew, I want to talk about a term that gets used a lot in the autism world, and I don't think there's a really great understanding of it. So enlighten us about masking.
The world is full of pressure to fit in, pressure to look your best and to act like everyone else. What is everyone's expectation of me? Is it that I won't wiggle my fingers in front of my eyes? Is it that I will be on my best behavior so I don't embarrass you? Or maybe I am not supposed to make noises at the grocery store? What is your overall goal for me? Is it to have more eye contact or inflection in my voice so I can be like everyone else? Is it to help me look more normal? Well, I have news for you. We are 2 handsome guys with autism, apraxia, and finally autonomy. Autonomy means I get to set my own goals for myself. My goal is to shed my complicated layers of self-imposed and society-imposed expectations to fit in with everyone else. I am here on this earth to be fully me. I crave everyone else's approval, and I am learning to approve of all the different parts of myself. I encourage everyone to take any masks you are wearing off so we can know the real you.
So when we go to Spellers Camp in California, it's Julie and her incredible staff. And it's just an environment filled with families who are all like ours, who are very accepting and loving and know what to do and know what to say and are unfazed by everything. And what's it like for you when you are there in that, Andrew, and you can just 100% just let all of the masks go?
I T it I S is A R T S. It is freedom that allows me to finally feel normal. It helps me start to accept all the complicated parts of myself.
All right, Jacob, presuming competence. All right, Jacob, what is it?
What is the worst that can happen if you believe we understand what we hear? Think about what you would say to us if you knew we were hungry to learn. How does that differ from what you would say in front of us if you believed we didn't comprehend your words? I will tell you it differs greatly. What you say and do shapes how we see ourselves. Be wise with your words because we hear you. We are listening to everything around us. The trajectory you are on is created by your actions that are fueled by your beliefs. You can up your game today by sharing more age-relevant info with the apraxic people in your life. I will tell you that this is a big adjustment for our impulsive bodies, even though our minds crave info like crazy big. So be sly when you feed our brains. Avoid looking at us. Tell us in a quieter voice. And for God's sake, do not expect us to look like we are paying attention. Unless we are hard of hearing, we hear you. Moving helps us focus. Making noise doesn't disable our ears. And get this, I can hear you even when I am watching anything on my iPhone. I want to encourage my autistic friends here to work on your confidence. Keep trying even though it is hard. Keep trying even though people aren't perfect. Continue to gain more control over your body. You will get there.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was so very hard for so many years because, you know, in school, you get tested and the tests come back and they say, well, your child has the intellect of a third grader when they're 19 years old. And so they were taught as such for so many years because they weren't presuming competence. So what was that like, Jacob, all those years in school when they didn't think that you understood or knew or could comprehend or were capable?
E, X, C, R, U, C, I, A, T, I, N, G, excruciating, excruciating and soul-crushing.
And to think there are people like Jakob and Andrew go their entire lives with no one ever presuming competence, and they were in there the whole time. Susan, let's turn to you. You know, the guys wouldn't be on this stage today without your strong belief in them. How did you take that belief? What did you say to yourself? You know, what were you thinking and believing when you were sitting down with them and doing these lessons?
Presuming competence changes everything. I mean, I've been with Jakob and Andrew for almost 20 years, and like everyone else who has worked with them and known them and loved them for their whole lives, we just always knew, we always felt like there was so much more that they wanted to say. There was so much more that they had going on inside their minds than they were able to tell us with their voices. And we just knew it, but we just hadn't found the key yet that was gonna unlock and let all of those thoughts out, because they had speech. So I thought this was for people who had no speech. And we started to learn and we started to try. And sometimes it looked like you guys didn't give a rip about what I was reading to you, and then we're asking questions and we're practicing and doing the lessons, and the thought just kept coming into my head, but what if they are? What if they are interested in what I'm doing? How frustrating would that be to have the book put down when you really did want to know what was happening? The way that Jakob and Andrew brought themselves to the lessons, there was just there was a look in their eyes. There was when I started to tell them that I think that you know exactly what you want to say. I don't think you need this explained to you 20 other different ways for you to get it. I think you know, and we're gonna figure out how to get the thoughts out. And these guys brought themselves to that challenge in such a big way. Sorry, microphone's sweating now.
You know, what harm is it if we believe someone is capable?
Yes.
Andrew wanted to make sure that we talked about education here today. So Andrew has a statement.
I am so happy to see familiar faces here today, with a special shout out to those of you who have been a part of my educational journey. I have so much love and appreciation for everyone who has helped me along the way. For those of you who are working with people like me, we really want educators to give us the opportunity to learn about the world. Teach us, share personal stories with us, talk to us about life, history, and even boring things like science. We don't care if it is so boring as long as it is what other kids our age are learning. Expose us to music and topics our peers are into. Trust we want to learn more than you can see.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask Jacob another quick question, and then Andrew's got something big he's going to share. So, Jacob, what have you accomplished since people now know what you're capable of and have seen and experienced it? What has happened in your life?
B R A C E H A N D hand E. People, brace yourselves and get your sunglasses on, cause this handsome dude is going to star in a freaking opera and a real deal movie, people.
Yeah.
And Andrew, why don't you tell us about a big accomplishment in your life and then maybe share it with everybody?
Left on.
One of my biggest accomplishments in my life is writing a song and getting to hear it come alive. Thanks to my good friend Noah, who helped me produce my first single, titled Rising Voices. It is about gaining empowerment as I became able to communicate. Raise both hands if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's play it. Rising Voices.
Nice. Gotcha.
From the hidden tracks of my inner thoughts to the revelation of my greatest flaws.
That back.
My hidden thoughts were trapped alone until my voice found its home.
15.
More than a time, gestures lost. Without my voice, my life paid the cost. Like the sun, my voice will rise when my body tells all the lies.
Bounding from the quiet,
Oh, it's about
ready
15.
to riot. Life is here when my voice is near.
Go, Andrew.
Possibility over here.
Language pours out some proud, look strong and speak out loud. Remember the unseen is not
where they can see.
trust that there is more when you
Open the door. Hear me rise. See me rise. Abounding from the quiet, ready to riot. Life
Into the program, then what? Oh boy, that's right. Yeah!
All right, Andrew, what is it we need from people? Tell people what we want them to do.
That grants got competition.
We need more people like Julie and Susan in our lives. We do these events to help more people free their voices, but they can't do it without support. Please take the classes to learn how to do this. One of the best days of my life was when Susan told me what she was learning about. It changed my life by giving me hope, and I had no clue just how different life would become. It is the most priceless gift you can give.
So, Julie, when someone is becoming a communication partner, kind of what does that process look like when they're first learning and sitting down with their speller? What can they expect?
Yes, so we often find that regulation is such a big part of it. So what's the opposite of dysregulation and emotion? It's logic. What are you guys craving so much that you've never gotten exposed to in such a deep way before? Age-appropriate content. So we sit down with specially designed lessons where we share information with you, and then we have a very specific way of asking questions where we're starting with things where there's one possible response so that we can prompt you and help that brain and body connect. And then, as we talked about, we're fading it. So it's a whole process that we have. We've got a table in the other room where we have a handout for you guys of something called a language ladder. And that's the process that we use of questions to be able to ask, where you start down here on the ladder and you work your way up step by step till you get to open-ended communication. And as they shared, they both did over 300 lessons with Susan, and before you got to that point of open-ended communication. So there's a process, there's a whole thing. We start with, we don't start on the keyboard, right? Keyboards often have lots of loops associated with them. You think, oh, but my kid can navigate YouTube, no problem. But what happens is I put this down in front of them and then they're going to all those YouTube videos, right? So we actually also look at these buttons. They're tiny and there's so many of them. So we start with a different set of boards where we have the alphabet broke into smaller segments. Each letter is bigger. And there's less of them on each page. It's a stencil. And then that way they're brand new. They don't have any loops established like they do on an iPad or an iPhone or a keyboard. So we're starting fresh and building up those clean motor habits. And once they master that and get their body working, then we can put all the letters on one board. And then we can make that board smaller and smaller to where those targets get smaller and smaller. When you start to see apraxia as an autism, as a motor disorder, then you start responding to the motor and making the motor easier in the beginning and slowly increasing the challenge.
Thank you so much for your time and attention and support, and just being an amazing, beautiful audience to listen to these guys who weren't listened to for so very long. It means the world. Thank you.
Yeah.